Today I'm going to be doing a collaboration build with my friends over at Twisted Tentacle Inn and Shard. I've already introduced Twisted Tentacle Inn multiple times. I hope you guys have checked him out by now. He's an absolute excellent player and optimizer. He has the best sorcerer deep dive there is. It is so comprehensive and so extensive. Absolutely fantastic. You have to check it out if you want to know everything there is to know about sorcerers. And we have Shard. Shard is an awesome guy. Shard took time out of his day to come sit down and talk to me about my attempts at optimizing monks. I really appreciate him just for being the type of person to take time out of his day to just have a conversation with me. These are both really great guys. Check out their channels. They are awesome. So what is our challenge build today? We are going to be doing a vampire assassin. So all three of us have the concept of this is a vampire who assassinates people. How are we going to do it? And we're going to each take that seed and do a different character. This is my character. When I think about a vampire assassin, I think about shadows. I think about someone walking through the night and then very, very stealthily, very, very quietly, they're just pulled into the darkness, never to be seen again. So what I'm going to go for with this build is a grapple assassin. What I want to do is I want to go find a target and grab them and pull them into a location that is beneficial to me and then murder them inside that location. Let's do this. Pretty obviously, we're going to have to be a Dhampir. It is the closest thing to a vampire, and it gives us the spider climb and as well as the bite, everything we need to make a vampire assassin. As far as our stats go, I'm going to take 16 in strength. This is to help us with our athletics and our grappling ability. We're also going to have 16 in constitution. We're going to have 14 in dexterity because we are a medium armor build. Then we're going to take 12 in wisdom, and then we're going to dump the rest. Now take note that we are going to be a ranger, and with this stat array, we cannot do multi-classing, so this is going to be a straight ranger. The second note to make here is that yes, I'm going to be using every single variant feature that rangers get because I prefer them over the base ranger. At level 1, I'm going to pick up expertise in athletics for obvious reasons. This is a grapple build. We have high strength. We're going to have proficiency in athletics. So once we get that expertise in athletics, we are a threat when it comes to grapples. We're also going to pick up proficiency in stealth and perception. Those are going to both be very important tools to doing the job that we do. We need to sneak up on our enemies and we need to be able to see them. I'm going to be picking up medium armor, and then I'm going to be using a versatile weapon for the D10 when I'm just attacking, but also have the ability to grapple right afterwards. So I personally like an axe look on this character, or maybe like a hook, something like that. I think that's kind of what I would do for my own personal imagery here. At level 2, we have options here. We can pick up dueling, blind fighting, or defense fighting style. Dueling's pretty nice because we're probably going to have somebody grappled pretty often with one hand, and we can be attacking them with our second hand and be doing better damage than we would otherwise. It changes us from doing a D8 of damage to essentially a D12. That's pretty good. Blind fighting isn't going to come up nearly as often, but when it comes up, it can be super clutch, and it does kind of fit the vibe we're going for. And then there's defense fighting style, which is just your base standard fighting style that you have to beat, otherwise you're just taking it. As for our spell casting, the main thing to keep in mind is that we have low wisdom, and so we really need to craft our spell list to accommodate that. So things like Hunter's Mark are still going to stand out, and things like Summon Beast are going to be less than they normally would be because our wisdom is so low. So I'm not going to go too big into spells. I don't think it's a very important part of this character's play style, but keep in mind that is how we need to be thinking about our spell list. At level 3, we're picking up Gloom Stalker. Gloom Stalker is going to improve our initiative and our speed and our damage output on that first turn and really give us a great setup turn. What I'm going to be looking to do is using our increased movement to get in there, grapple a key target, and if there's darkness around, I want to take advantage of that and pull them into the darkness where we're invisible. And there's some things to keep in mind that Dhampir allows us to do. Maybe the darkness is in a corner and we can like grab our enemy and start spider climbing up the wall and pull them into that corner. Maybe their feet are just dangling out of the shadows and you can't even see us because we're in darkness. I just like that imagery. We can also pull them underwater. We don't have to breathe. So if we can grab an enemy and pull them into a liquid of some sort, we don't have to breathe, they do, and it's probably going to be a lot darker down there anyways. So it really fits our advantages. I think it's pretty obvious that we're not always going to have darkness to take advantage of this. In that case, we just are kind of a ranger. We can bonus action, Hunter's Mark, go hit them twice with our dueling fighting style, do a chunk of damage. We can do all the nice things when needed. We can go grapple them. We have great speed, so we're great at chasing down people and tackling them. Another note on Gloom Stalker is that we get a plus 30 to our dark vision, so we do have better dark vision than most. We're around 90 feet, so there's 120 feet, and then there's of course Twilight Cleric at their 300. So we are good, not great, and not insane. Another thing we get at 3rd level by being a ranger is that we get to talk to animals once per day for free, so we can kind of create some animal companion friendships. That's awesome for the flavor of being a vampire because we have wolves, bats, and rats, which are very typically allies of vampires, so we can actually represent that in game, which I think is pretty cool. Go try and find yourself a bat companion or a wolf companion and have them be involved. At level 4, I'm picking up strength. Con isn't bad either because it kind of stacks up on our vampire bite, but honestly, I'm using vampire bite more for flavor for this build than I am for it's like our core play style, so I'm going to be going strength personally. At level 5, we're picking up extra attack. It makes our grapple combos far more consistent because we can grapple and trip and all the things we need to do. And then Pass Without Trace. I think Pass Without Trace is a have to mention spell. Pass Without Trace is so good. It takes a whole party's stealth and makes it nearly perfect. And with somebody who's already great at stealth, this gives us a lot of ambush opportunities. Whether or not Pass Without Trace is a fight-winning spell is questionable. Sometimes it absolutely is. If you think about it, Pass Without Trace enables your whole party to ambush, and if your whole party gets a surprise round, that's essentially the whole party getting action surge for a second level spell. That's insane value, but it's not going to be consistent because no DM is going to allow you to ambush every single time. Sometimes you will be surprised. Sometimes fights will break out in a moment's notice. Sometimes it'll be a conversation before a fight. There's many ways that fights happen where Pass Without Trace isn't going to help you, but when it does, it's going to be big, and it fits the playstyle. It's going to let us infiltrate, has great synergy with Spider Climb. So yeah, big power level for us, as level 5 usually is. At level 6, we get more speed, like I talked about. Now we are plus 10, so we have 40 feet of movement normally. On our first turn, we have 50 feet of movement. Awesome for doing what we need to do. We also get improved favored foe damage. I haven't really talked about favored foe because it's pretty comparable with what we're doing with Hunter's Mark. We're probably going to be using Hunter's Mark more often. It's there for when we need it. At level 7, we're getting proficiency in wisdom saving throws. Proficiency in wisdom saving throws is fantastic. It doesn't seem like a very powerful feature, but it is. This is an awesome Gloom Stalker feature. Now, I think you get the point. We're the stealthy grappler, pull them into corners, murder them with high damage output. When needed, we can just do damage output. We have spells to help us be a roguelike infiltrator, and we have talking to animals to help us get into that vampire roleplay. So we are a pretty sick vampire. Now, I think the main concern I would have with this character is not every campaign is going to enable it. If this character was playing in a solo campaign, it would shine in a different way than it's going to in a normal campaign. But even in the case that we're dealing with a normal campaign, we can still just be a ranger. So at worst, we're just a ranger with some vampire flavor. At best, we're a crazy cool vampire. Gloom Stalker also brings a ton of fun spells for this build and playstyle. At level 9, we get Fear, which is just simply a fight-winning spell. And although our wisdom isn't great and we should expect a lot of people to save, if we're hitting enough people, some are going to fail. And this is the type of spell that once we hit someone, man, they are crippled. They are genuinely crippled for a long time, depending on the terrain, but you can really expect to divide and conquer with this spell. Disguise Self is also going to be really cool. As a vampire, disguising yourself is a pretty typical trope. We're not going to be great in charisma. In fact, we're going to be hot garbage in charisma, so it's not going to be our go-to. It's not like we're going to be a face, but it is going to be nice to have in our back pocket, and it's going to be nice for roleplay purposes. Rope Trick is a very interesting spell with this build because we have Spider Climb, so if we rope trick near a wall, we can just spider climb up and down and not even have to use the rope, which is kind of cool because say we've grappled someone and we pull them up a wall, we can now rope trick and drag them into that extra dimensional space, which is just awesome. I love the imagery of just absolutely snatching someone as a vampire and taking them to a literal different dimension to be feasted upon. Very scariness. So yeah, the Gloom Stalker is just a crazy good subclass overall. It has great spells, great features, and it really, I don't pull out Gloom Stalker all the time because it's so powerful. I want to make sure that there's a good reason for me to pull it out, and I'd say being a badass grappling assassin vampire is a good enough reason for me, but I would like to hear what you guys would do with the same seed. How would you build your vampire assassin? And remember, there are 2 other awesome creators who have also made vampire assassins that you should definitely go check out. Links down below. But other than that, I hope you have yourselves a lovely day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later, my friends.